Because there are times when we want to do what others want us to do. And there are times when that is okay, because if you didn't do it, you would feel even worse. You see? So this is where, a lot of times people say, well, I need to have boundaries and I am not going to do what people tell me to do. And that is good, provided you don't feel bad when you do it. Because if you feel bad when you do it, then it's really not working. Then you're not really achieving what it was that you set out to accomplish and achieve. So what's the point? Because at the end of the day, I give myself permission to do what is right for me, means I give myself permission to be happy. So this is where people get a little bit mixed up with law of attraction. Because they think that law of attraction is telling me that I shouldn't listen to other people. But that's not what law of attraction is telling you. Law of attraction is telling you to listen to your own guidance. And sometimes your guidance is going to say, do what your mother, your brother, your husband, wife, child wants you to do, your supervisor at work wants you to do, because it feels better than not doing it. See? And let me tell you a little story from many years ago. This is very, very early on when I was coaching. I had this beautiful girl who was one of my coaching clients. And she so badly wanted not to be a people pleaser. She knew that she was a people pleaser. And she really wanted to break out of it. And in her case, the two sets of people that she was pleasing most often were either her parents or her in-laws. And every time there was something going on between her parents and herself, or her in-laws and her, she would just go down the emotional scale, because she would say, I don't even want to talk to them. Just thinking about them, just having to talk to them makes me so angry, because they are trying to control me, and I will not allow them to control me. They want me to do things that I don't want to do. So she asked me one day, Zara, they want me to do this thing and I don't want to talk to them. Is it okay if I don't talk to them? And I said to her, if you really had decided that you didn't want to talk to them, you wouldn't even be asking me. Why are you asking me for permission if you already made the decision? So what is it about this decision that is not sitting well with you? What is it about this decision that makes you uncomfortable? And she said, well, if I don't talk to my mother-in-law, that makes me a very bad daughter-in-law. And I don't want to be a bad daughter-in-law. So I was like, okay, then you have a choice. Which one do you want? Which one is more important to you? Being a good daughter-in-law is more important to you? Or not speaking to your mother-in-law because she makes you angry is more important to you? You've got to pick one. Pick one, make the decision, and then align with that decision. And you've got to pick the one that feels better than the other one. So which one of these options that you have feels like it is the easiest one from where you are just now? Pick that one. And so she picked to speak to her mother-in-law. And once she made that decision, now we can do a 4-step process to soothe her. so that she does not become anxious and angry in speaking to her mother-in-law. But otherwise, you just sit in indecision, and your vibration pulls you apart in two different directions. And that's exactly what we don't want. So this is what Abraham means when they say, pick the path of least resistance. Pick the path of least resistance. So taking that a step further and giving you an example from my own life, when I walked away from my marriage, walking away felt easier than trying to fix it. That's why I was able to walk away. Because I tried to fix it for a whole year. I tried visualization. I tried appreciation. I tried everything that at that time I knew how to do. I know a lot more now. But I tried everything that I knew how to do at that time. And I got to a place where I could say to myself, I cannot fix this. The thought of trying to fix this feels worse than the thought of walking away from it. So that's how come I was able to walk away. Because I walked away without regrets. Why? Because it was the path of least resistance. It was easier to align with. So you make the decision, and then you find alignment with that decision because the other choice feels way worse. And this is the thing. Let me tell you about my brother. My brother came to Canada exactly like I did. I came to Canada and I burnt my bridges. I said, not going back. That's done. It's over. I'm going to figure out how to live here. So I burnt all my bridges and I just said, okay, I'm willing to start at the bottom and work my way up again because I can do it. And yes, it will be hard, but it's harder to go back. I didn't want to go back. Aligning with going back felt harder than aligning with staying here and starting at the bottom. Okay? Then my brother came here a couple of years after I had already been here. And his mindset was completely different. He was not willing to start at the bottom. To him, starting at the bottom because he was at the top of his career, which was exactly where I was at the top of my career. I was looking after the retail organization of Levi Strauss in all of Pakistan, all the stores. To me, it didn't feel like such a big problem to give all of that up and start over. But to him, it was a huge problem. So he could not align with starting at the bottom again. It was not his path of least resistance, it was his path of most resistance. And so he ended up going back. That was easier for him than starting at the bottom here. And this is why all of us are different. No matter how much I told him, you can do it, you can start at the bottom, it won't take you any time at all, but that's not what his guidance was telling him. His guidance was different from my guidance because we are different people. We have different beliefs, even though we are brother and sister. So to him, going back was an easier option than staying here. And this is the interesting thing about humans. So you should always take your own advice, yes, because only you know what's hard. So it's always about giving yourself the permission to do what is right for you at that time, in the moment. You are making a decision based on what your beliefs are, where you are on the emotional scale, and how much momentum you have in this moment. And tomorrow it will look different. And hasn't that happened to you? Raise your hand, put a 1 in the chat if that has happened to you, because you postpone making the decision today and you sleep on it and tomorrow it looks different. What changes between today and tomorrow? Where you are on the emotional scale changes. Usually you go up the emotional scale, you feel calmer about it, you feel better about it, you feel more able to handle it, your perspective changes. So your place on the emotional scale changes, momentum changes, you're not as angry or upset anymore, or you're not as confused or anxious anymore, so momentum changes. And a new set of beliefs comes in and kicks in. Instead of saying, no, 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 you start saying, yeah, maybe I can. Maybe I can. Right? And then you make a new decision. Why? Because now your path of least resistance is a different path of least resistance. So your path of least resistance is not a brick road that is never going to change. It's not the brick road from the Wizard of Oz. It isn't. Instead, it is the moving staircases from Harry Potter. It's the moving staircases from Hogwarts. They are not in the same place. Every moment where they are changes. Your staircase changes. And I'm here to tell you it's okay for the staircase to change where it is. Just don't beat up on yourself because of it. In every moment we are making a decision, every moment we are making a preference, every moment we are thinking a thought, therefore we are making a decision, because every thought is a decision. Oh my goodness, I've never said that before. What constitutes a good decision depends on who you are in the moment. You have more clarity the higher you are on the emotional scale. The lower you are on the emotional scale, the more momentum you have lower on the emotional scale, then the more confused you are. And the more you tell yourself, oh, this is confusing, then the more confused you get. Because you are adding momentum to confusion. People think, oh, I have to work on my abundance. Oh, I have to work on my health. Oh, I have to work on this relationship. Oh, I have to work on this thing that needs fixing. That's how people think. But in law of attraction, there is only one subject. And that one subject is your vibration. That's it. In law of attraction, money is not a different subject from health. In law of attraction, abundance is the same as love. In law of attraction, things are not different subjects. Let me say that again. In law of attraction, things are not different subjects. There's only one subject, and that is your vibration. And when you get this, there are no subjects in law of attraction except vibration, 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 vibration. And this is the reason why Abraham says, use any excuse to go up the emotional scale, because the subject that you use in order to go up the emotional scale is not important. What is important is where you are on the emotional scale, the emotion that you're producing in your body, in your cells, which is vibrating out to the universe.